the WEPs Awards have been really a great vehicle to mobilize more companies. And thanks to the ones that apply to the WEPs Awards, that have shared their commitments, have shared their good practices, we really have seen that this had generated year after year more attraction, more awareness, more commitments, and more applications. Over the past years, we had more than 1,000 applications from more than 500 companies in 20 countries across the region, which is really a tremendous effort and a tremendous signal of commitment. So thank you very much for that. And my colleague Amy will talk a little bit later about all the details on the WEPs Awards itself. But I just want to also say this commitment and these great practices and awardees have been recognized for this, not only at the awards themselves, but what we have been doing and starting to do to really share this good practice and share the cases and the programs, the approaches that you have been awarded for with the wider community to inspire others. And I'm pleased to say that we have by now also a YouTube video with the winners from the last years. We have 18 of them really collectively put together on a video, which I see is put in the chat right now. So please have a look at this and really get inspired by the actions what others have been doing. And we also are publishing currently more profiles of the companies that have been winning over the past years on our global website, which is called weps.org. So I think that gives particularly the ones that are new to the conversation, but also the ones that are really interested in the space, a really great source of inspiration on what our existing awardees have been doing. But enough with looking backwards. I'm really thrilled today that we are here to announce the 3rd edition of the WEPs Awards, as you see on the slide. And when I'm saying we are launching this, yes, applications are open from today onward, the 19th of April till June 30th. So please be inspired and learn more today. But really, we are very keen to get new companies, but also existing companies with great new examples or advanced examples to really share with us and become part of the WEPs community and the WEPs Awards family. So as I said before, my colleague Amy is going to share a little bit more. And I don't want you to be bored with my voice, but I want to close this with a huge thank you, as I said, to the European Union, a huge thank you to all the companies that have been instrumental to this. And I would like, in a more forward-looking way, also already say a big thank you to our other co-organizer of the WEPs Awards this year, the Australian government, who has been supporting the WEPs Awards last year already through different engagements. But this year, we are really grateful for an even bigger engagement from the Australian government. And I'm really thrilled that we have also Christine Clark, who's the ambassador for women and girls of the Australian government Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, DFAT, to address us today with a very brief message. And the Australian government, as well as the EU government, have been really demonstrating leadership to advance gender equality with not only the private sector, but particularly in the programs that we are running for the moment, really through that. So with that, I really would like to invite Christine Clark, or Amy in this case, to share with us the address from Christine Clark. See that technology works. Trying to get her up. There we go.
Are you seeing a black screen?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Hello everyone. My name is Christine Clark and I'm Australia's Ambassador for Women and Girls. I'm delighted to join you today from Ngunnawal country, and I pay my respects to the traditional owners of this land, including the many strong and inspiring women leaders, past, present and emerging. Dawara Nuna, Dawara Nanawal, Yangu, Narawiri, Duni Manyin, Nanawal Wari, Dawara Wari, Ningara, Dindi, Wangarali Jinyin. Australia is pleased to again support the Asia-Pacific Women's Empowerment Principles WEPs Awards this year. Since 2020, the WEPs Awards have highlighted businesses who are leading the way, taking a variety of catalytic actions within their organisations to support women's empowerment in the workplace and in their wider value chains and in the community. Congratulations to all the companies that have participated over the last 2 years and to the nearly 200 national and regional level champions who have been awarded and rewarded for your actions. I encourage more businesses to join these companies in the journey to transform the situation for women in work and marketplaces in the Asia-Pacific, to showcase and to advocate for the significant role that business can play in advancing gender equality. This is an issue that the Australian Government and UN Women, through our long-standing partnerships in the region, and all of us here today, care deeply about. As the Asia-Pacific recovers from the impacts of COVID-19, women's economic participation and empowerment is vital to our efforts to support a resilient, sustainable and inclusive recovery. Thank you for joining us in this important endeavour through your commitment to the implementation of the Women's Empowerment Principles as we launch the WEPs Awards for 2022.
Great. Always good to have someone from Australia speaking to gender equality. So with that, I don't want to let you wait longer, but I've been seeing also that we actually got a couple of more participants joining in over the last 5 minutes. So I just want to very officially again say the WEPs Awards are launched, WEPs Awards 2022 are launched officially today. And I'm really pleased that I have Amy Baum with me, who is, as the title says here on the slide, international consultant in our Women's Economic Empowerment team here in the regional office. But Amy has been actually the mind behind the WEPs Awards and really been leading this over the past almost 3 years now. So I'm really grateful that Amy will this year also be the one who's probably in contact with many of the applicants across the region here. And she will give us already a short introduction now in what to expect for the 2022 WEPs Awards in Asia Pacific. With that, over to you, Amy.
Okay, I can unmute myself. Thanks, Katja. And welcome everybody to our event and our official launch today. I'm thrilled to see that we have 129 attendees. It's always great to see such a fantastic turnout. And as Katja said, we are officially launching everything today. We're launching the event, the process, we're launching applications on the website. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the full process. I'll tell you a bit about the key dates, some of the eligibility, and then a bit about the application and how you apply before we hand it over for a fantastic panel discussion with some of our former awardees last year and also one of our judges that's been with us at the regional level the past 2 years. Okay, so please do feel free to input into the chat if anything isn't if anything isn't presenting correctly, and I can always change it because I might switch screens a little bit to take you through the application at one point. Okay, so a quick note on key dates. So we're launching today officially, and we will close on June 30th. So we have a nice long application window. And also with the applications being launched today, you can go to the website and download a copy of the application and get started offline. I'll show you how to do that. And then mid-August, shortlisted applicants will be notified by email. In October, we're going to hold national WEPs Awards ceremonies or celebrations in our 7 We Empower Asia countries that we have held for the past 2 years. So this is where we have a national process that happens first before the regional round in China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. And then we're aiming for November 17th. It's not set in stone yet, but we're aiming for November 17th for our regional ceremony. And I'll explain a bit more how this national regional process works in the coming minutes. But I will watch my time as well to make sure we have plenty of time for the panel discussion when it is supposed to start. Let me make sure I'm watching my time. Yes, okay. So we have 6 categories. These are the same categories that we had last year, and they align to the WEPs value chain, as you can see. So we start with leadership commitment, which is WEP 1. We move into gender inclusive workplace, then we go down into the marketplace. We have a category on community engagement and partnerships, and then also transparency and reporting, which was one of our newly released categories last year. And we saw some great uptake of, so we're really driving it forward this year and excited to see who applies. So one of the things to note with each of these categories is that each one has a winner, a first runner-up, and a second runner-up. And then we also have 3 SME champions. So I can answer some questions about this a little bit later. But one of the things that we do each year to make sure that we're more inclusive and not over-representing or over-advantaging some of the larger corporations, the multinationals, those who have been around for a really, really long time, is we see the applications that come in. And then we look at smaller entities, SMEs, so those who are fewer than 250 employees, and those who may not have all the policies and practices in place yet, or they may not have been established as long, or they're a startup or a young youth-led organization, and we put those into a special pool for our SME Champions Award. So this award goes to an organization who has applied in a specific category. So we might have an SME champion for leadership or an SME champion for transparency and reporting. And we handle this when we shortlist. So this is kind of our way to recognize the vital importance that SMEs play to the regional economy, in many ways the backbone, and ensure that we're still including them in the process to be recognized for their initiatives. And I'll explain to you a little bit when I talk about in the application how that works. You cannot see the screen. Oh dear. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very glad you messaged me though. Let me try again. Okay. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Maybe give me just a quick thumbs up or yes. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so just where we were, and we'll share this presentation. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of information sessions, but these are our 6 main categories. I'm just going to go quickly through the different categories and the criteria, but I won't go too long, and then you can always refer back to this and check. So leadership commitment, this goes to leaders 35 and older. And this is mostly to CEOs or other strong leaders, those in senior management who have really demonstrated strong leadership commitment in making corporate commitments for the organization as a whole, or also speaking publicly about their gender equality commitments. Let me go to youth leadership first, and then I'll go back to workplace. So youth leadership is somewhat similar. These are young leaders that have displayed exemplary skills in advancing, progressing, advocating for gender equality, either within their organizations or within the wider community. And this is leaders who are under the age of 35 at the time of application. And one of the things that we always like to note about this award is it can be a CEO or a founder or co-founder, but really this can be anyone else that's part of the private sector organization that's leading change. And this could be a young employee within a multinational larger corporate. It doesn't have to be CEO level or founder level. We're really just looking for young people who exemplify that spirit in the effort as well of kind of aligning to our global generation of quality campaign and platform. And then moving down one into gender inclusive workplace, this is really where we see some of the highest number of applications each year. And it's also where we often see companies that join the WEPs community start their efforts. This actually covers 3 WEPs, 3 principles, WEPs 2, 3, and 4. And so this can really be a broad range of initiatives. It doesn't mean that you apply for each of these. You could just have a really strong initiative on equal recruitment, equal hiring, equal promotion, and that could be your application. Or you apply for a very strong equal pay initiative. Perhaps you set up an organization-wide study. You set up an action plan to drive more equal pay, and then you've also set up measurement and reporting mechanisms around it. This could also be flexible work arrangements, especially we've seen more companies initiate different modalities of work with COVID, and especially with the increased care burden on many women and mothers and female employees taking a lot of that on. So if you have a really great workplace initiative to address some of that unequal burden, or to support both women and men with childcare or care for any dependents they might have, we'd love to hear about it. And this could also be promoting women's career development. So an initiative, and you might hear some of this today from one of our speakers, on supporting women to develop and build the pipeline for leadership. So really a broad range of initiatives. And this award goes to a company or organization, whereas the leadership ones are given to the actual leaders. Okay, and then down the value chain a little bit. So gender responsive marketplace, we see that this category and also this WEP principle as well can be somewhat confusing or unclear to companies at first, or they're not quite sure how to address it. This is kind of deepening the work of your gender equality commitments into the value chain and into the marketplace. And this sort of takes 2 forms, the way we look at it. So one of those is actually marketing and advertising practices, and looking at how you can internally make your marketing and advertising more gender responsive, or also advocate within your industry. And then also looking at the marketplace itself, and where you're sourcing from, where you're procuring your goods and services from. If you're looking to buy from women-owned businesses, or collecting sex disaggregated data on the suppliers that you procure from and hire. This could also be supporting women entrepreneurs in the market with capacity development or financial products, depending on who's applying. So also a wide range of initiatives as well. And then community engagements and partnerships, our 5th category. This is another one that can also be broad, but relates to WEP 6, looking at community engagement. And so we look at organizations that have either undertaken to support gender equality within the communities their companies are located in, and especially through partnering or collaborating with other peer organizations or NGOs or UN entities, or other industry associations or research organizations to initiate programs and kind of change the needle. This could also be participating in multi-stakeholder platforms like the Unstereotype Alliance, which we do have active a bit in the region, and looking to kind of create more industry-specific and industry-wide change and advocate with other peers. This could also just be integrating gender equality into your CSR or other philanthropy programs. We of course like to see something that where the company has really been engaged and active in a community initiative, and not just providing the resources. And we do actually see a really great range of applications each year. And then our new category that was new last year, and that we'll be carrying through for this year again, that we're very excited about, is transparency and reporting. And this one might also seem a bit elusive, or companies have a lot of questions about it, but we're really looking at companies that have committed to measuring certain gender equality indicators, tracking their progress, and reporting it publicly, especially. This doesn't mean that if you're not reporting publicly on all of your data, you can't apply in this category. This could be also conducting an internal gender-wide audit, where you really dig into some of the data within your organization, and try and conduct that internal audit and start measuring and tracking and setting up an action plan to enhance your efforts for gender equality through that tracking and reporting. This could just be integrating more gender equality indicators into your sustainability reporting. And it could also be advocating more broadly on advancing public reporting for gender equality and gender data. So these are our categories. There's more information on the website, and I can answer more a bit later, but I want to move on a little bit to eligibility. This is always a key one that we get asked each year, and I will watch my time. I think I'm good. I've got 10 minutes left. So the WEPs Awards is really for everyone in business, for all private sector organizations. Unfortunately, foundations and nonprofits are not eligible. It's private sector. But this does include entrepreneurs, SMEs, social enterprises, and this does also include industry associations, chambers of commerce, and stock exchanges. And I know that some of those entities are actually set up as nonprofits, but these are also entities that are eligible to sign the WEPs and become signatories to the Women's Empowerment Principles. And so they're also included within the scope of the WEPs Awards. And we have seen some great applications and awardees from industry associations. And we always hope that we see more of those kind of larger bodies applying as well. So all companies or organizations that either have residency or are registered to operate in the Asia-Pacific, your headquarters, if you're a multinational, can certainly be somewhere else. For the leadership awards, all nationalities, whoops, sorry, my monitor cut out. All nationalities can apply for the leadership awards. You can apply and be the winner for Ireland, even if you're not Thai. Sorry, bear with me just a second. It disconnected. Let me get it back up. Just a second. Okay, but I'll keep clarifying. So even if you are applying to be the youth leadership or leadership winner for Thailand, and you're from the States or from another country, you can still apply. You can still be eligible. Okay, you can see the PowerPoint again, correct? Can you double check? Yes. Yes. Okay. Thanks. Great. Okay. Another one that is key is that you don't need to be a WEPs signatory to apply. So they are the WEPs Awards. They're awards that are aligned to the principles of the WEPs. So if you're a company, this is the first time you've heard of the WEPs today, and also you're a bit intimidated. We also do hear that lots of companies think, I can't possibly address all 7 principles, or we're a small SME. This isn't for us. You're totally fine. I think the first note is that you don't have to be a signatory to apply. What happens when you apply is that you acknowledge that in order to become an awardee, you will have to become a WEPs signatory, but we give you the timeline and the process for that. We notify you when you're shortlisted and say, just so you know, we need to receive your application by X date to become an awardee. But also when you do become a WEPs signatory, it's a commitment. It's not an obligation for reporting or action or kind of mandatory criteria. It's a commitment that you're going to assess your own progress and start to try to address all 7 of these principles as they relate to your organization. So I know it can be somewhat intimidating, but we encourage anyone, no matter at what point they're at in their journey, to become a WEPs signatory and also to apply for the awards. So just very briefly, why apply? I think yeah, we always obviously love seeing all the applications and the examples of how people are applying the principles in real life, but you really demonstrate your leadership on gender equality, yield the benefits for your business. You fast track your sustainability agenda and make your actions visible to consumers and stakeholders, and you help us learn more about what works in the region and what doesn't, and what different companies are doing in different local contexts. So you help really showcase what Asia-Pacific is doing and how much work we are doing as well in the region. Also, all applicants have a self-diagnostic tool on the WEPs website that you don't have to be a signatory to take. If you become a WEPs signatory, you join a global peer network of nearly 6,500 companies around the globe that have signed. And also get access to trainings and webinars. And then just some of the benefits for the awardees and the winners are, of course, worldwide recognition and visibility. One of the links I sent through earlier on the WEPs.org, the global WEPs website, we just published our champion profiles from 2020, a little bit late, but nonetheless, they're still fantastic. So you can see 18 of our regional awardees from 2020 and read about the work that they've done. that's available on that global website. We have the testimonial videos of our 2021 winners that have now been uploaded to our YouTube channel. So they're great opportunities for visibility and to show your work further, and also to help move others and inspire and influence others within your respective industries. Okay, let me go quickly through the application process, and I'll try and end in about 8 minutes so we can move on to the panel, and then we'll come back to some of the questions that people have been asking at the end. So all of the applications are done through our website, which is Asia-Pacific WEPs Awards.org, and as of today, it is live. You can go apply now. So you go to the website, you choose your language. The Chinese applications should be launched on Wednesday, but right now everything else is available. And also on the website, you can download the copies of the application so that you can get started offline if you wish. And we have different steps to complete the application on the website. Okay, I'm going to go through quickly just on the process and show you a few screenshots of what it looks like and just what to expect. And then we'll come back to a few more details at the end, I think. So you can apply for up to 2 categories of the 6, and each application has 3 parts. In the first part, we ask you some general information about the company. Part 2 is a set of general questions, and these relate to your internal policies and practices. These are aligned to all 7 WEPs principles, and this is also aligned to our WEPs gender gap analysis tool that helps companies assess where they are in each and every principle. And this part 2 in particular, I think, can sometimes be intimidating for smaller organizations, but we work with you wherever you're at. And for those that really don't have a lot of these policies, they'll be perfectly spotted for the SME champion category and can still be awarded. And then part 3 is where you get open-ended questions to detail what you've done for your specific initiative. And we do ask for documents to be uploaded to provide evidence for part 2 and part 3. But again, a wide range can be accepted, and we'll work with whatever you have. So this is what it looks like on the website when you see part 1, basic information, how did you hear, company name, da-da-da. Part 2, so you will see questions. So these are kind of the ones that align to the WEPs, like the percentage of women in management positions, including top management is you choose. And then we do ask you also to input the specific percentage. And then for each question in part 2, we will ask you to upload a file. So this is either evidence that substantiates the answer that you give, an organizational chart, or this could be a written explanation that you upload. If you're a startup, you can provide a written explanation and let us know, and we can look into that also. We're very willing to work with kind of whatever evidence or documentation you can provide. And then part 3 is where you actually fill out the answers for the specific category you've applied for, and all of the major subheadings are the same. So we ask you to provide some background and context to the initiative. What was the issue that you decided to address, or what was the challenge? Why did you start it? Who did it seek to impact? And then looking at key actions taken and some of the lessons learned. So how did you roll out your initiative? What exactly did you do? What did you learn along the way? What were some of the challenges and how did you work through them? And then also results in sustainability. What has come out of your initiative so far, and how are you thinking of deepening it, sustaining it, moving into the next phase, expanding it into a different country, all of these things. And then for part 3, supporting documents, we're open to a range of supporting documents. This can be links to Facebook posts, to videos, articles published online, blog posts, video clips, all kinds of things that can be uploaded to support the part 3. This doesn't have to be kind of official formal reporting for documentation at all. And then you have a final section where you submit. And a great thing about the application as well is that you can save at any time. So you're more than welcome to start the application, take a look at what it looks like on the website, save it, and then come back to it later. That's more than okay. And then one quick note I want to make, and then some of these details will be shared in the information sessions we'll have, and we'll have one coming up in the next 2 weeks. But just to give you an idea of how the applications are scored, is that part 2, where we ask all these kind of detailed questions about your policies and practices, is weighted at 25%. So the majority of the score and where we, you know, how we judge the applications is put into your part 3 initiative. So if you're a small organization that, you know, is a startup and you don't have many of these policies in place, but you've done some really great community initiatives, that is going to have the weight of the application, the weight of the score. And basically, when all the applications are submitted, UN Women does an internal round of shortlisting, and we verify the information given for part 2. And then external panels of judges at the national and regional level will actually do the review and scoring of the part 3 in the applications. And then we combine those scores to determine the final round of awardees. And so where we have our national processes, we will have national celebrations first, and then the top winners from our We Empower Asia countries will go up to the regional level. And then for all other countries that apply, so this is open to any country in the Asia-Pacific, for all of those countries that apply, we take those into a regional pool and we shortlist the top ones. And that goes into the final regional pool for the big regional awards in November. Okay, I am going to stop there and hand it back to Katya in the essence of time. Don't worry, we'll come back for all of your Q&A, and we'll also hold information sessions. But I know everyone's probably eager to hear from the past winners, and we are as well. So I'll hand it back to you, Katya.
Thank you very much, Amy, and your presentation has triggered a couple of questions in the Q&A already. I've deliberately not answered them yet. We have some of our time at the end to also answer some of these questions. But I think now it's time to really hear some firsthand experience. And I have the extreme pleasure to invite Ibu Maya Huvita, who's wearing many, many hats, but on this occasion today, I'm moderating a great panel. Maya is the Executive Director of the Indonesia Business Coalition for Women Empowerment, IBCWE. So Maya, thank you so much, not only for being here today and hosting this exciting panel, but also thank you so much for being such a great partner, and particularly a member of the judging jury, which has a really important role in the WEPs Awards process. It would be great if you could kick us off a little bit in the wider context on how that the women empowerment principles really supported the work that the business coalitions in Indonesia have been doing to strengthen workplace equality. But we're also curious to hear a little bit about the experience and perceptions and what you have seen over the past years when being part of the WEPs Awards. What were your kind of reflections on that? Over to you, Maya.
Thank you, Katya. I think at the beginning of the business coalition set up back to 5 years ago, WEPs is one of the basic things actually that we used to work with our members to strengthen workplace gender equality, because as you know that IBCW is really focusing on workplace gender equality. So the principle number 1, 2, 3, 4 until 7, and 7, it's one of our key point on that one. And we gain a lot of insights each year from being the member of national. I was the national judge as well in 2020, and both 2020 and 2021 becoming the regional judge for WEPs Award. I think it's really rewarding to see companies from all over Asia having efforts and programs in ensuring women to stay in the workforce and remain, and of course advancing the position within the company. So I think it's a lot of insight that we get there. And happily to share as well that these WEPs Awards, it's also becoming one of the attractions from companies in Indonesia actually to join us as the to be the member of IBCW, because they know that we are working based on the WEPs, and some of our members are highly regarded, getting the awards from the WEPs Awards from each year. So we are really happy for that, Katya. So I think thank you for the opportunity. We would like to proceed with the panel discussion this afternoon. So as we often say, there is a reason the WEPs start with leadership and strong corporate commitments, whether it's a multinational corporation or an SME. Strong backing and follow through from leadership is required for the commitment and actions to cascade throughout the organizations. On this note, I would like to turn first to one of our regional SME champions, Julie Sanlo from Vietnam, and Mr. Sorin Ruud Pedersen, who won the SME Champion Awards for Leadership Commitment. Hi, Soren.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
So, yes, Soren, as the CEO, as the leaders of an SME, can you share how the WEPs offers a framework to guide your gender equality effort? And also, why would you encourage other companies to apply, especially the SMEs?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Katja, Amy, and now Maya. Let me start off by saying that I'm, of course, very honored to be invited to speak today on this important topic. The women empowerment runs deep in my roots, dating all the way back to when my mother was an activist fighting for women's rights in Denmark back in the 60s and 70s. And being a father of two amazing little girls gives me motivation to try and be the best role model, not only for them, but also for my community and my company here. So I ensure that everyone feel empowered to reach any dreams they may have. In my SME jewelry manufacturing company here in Vietnam, the women are performing especially well. And that gives us a great advantage to have high performing staff. Therefore, it's only right that we give them all the best possible conditions to be successful. And this is achieved among many things, but having a clear gender equality policy is very important. For many local SMEs, gender equality may be a new topic or an opportunity they have not yet touched. And this is where the WEP principles are great, because they give every SME, no matter the current state, an important framework and guidelines to make a difference. So I can try and recap the 7 principles as we see it. Because the 7 principles, they provide concrete steps for us to advance the gender equality, and especially in our value chain, in our workplace, marketplace, and community. So the first one is the corporate leadership. And this is, of course, a key integral part of making gender equality and women's empowerment a top strategic priority. So we need to make sure that we embed the values into our business values and tell all the customers and staff and stakeholders that this is a clear policy and importance for us. And all the managers in my company, they have to be accountable for results against these goals and targets. Then, of course, in number 2, need to ensure that you treat all the women and men fairly at work without any discrimination. And this goes on many levels. For example, equal pay, benefits, and bonuses, and ensure you have an inclusive workplace culture where you can remove these often gender-based discrimination from all the policies and practices. Then you need to be sure that you offer flexible working arrangements and leave, re-entry opportunities to positions of equal pay and status. And then you also need to support the women and men to access child and dependent care through services, resources, and information. So we spend time and efforts and resources on this. Number 3 is that, of course, you need to set in mind that the employees play a key role in preserving and promoting the physical and emotional health and safety and well-being. So we take key actions accordingly. I have policies and procedures to prevent all forms of violence and sexual harassment at work. This is important. And number 4, education. I cannot say this enough. This is by far one of the most important things. You need to ensure that your staff is well educated, trained, and have professional development available for all women. And then with this, you can influence your business partners. and promote equality through your community, through advocacy. And then I think what is especially good with the framework of the 7 principles is it gives you a template where you can report on your progress and you can share your lessons learned. You can also go in and read what others have done. So I think that's great. And now I understand I will give the opportunity to our friend Ned to recognize the vital importance of young leaders in guiding the next generation of businesses to become more inclusive. So maybe Ned can tell us why she decided to apply and how she feels the WEPs can support both SME and corporates alike to be more gender inclusive.
Thanks, Soren.
Great. Thanks, Soren. Thanks, Maya, as well, and the organizers, as always, Amy and Katja. Really great to be here. Hope everybody can hear me. So I'll do a little quick intro of myself. I'm the co-founder of Isla. We are a social startup that's really focused on bridging the gap between the private sector and the public sector, and really working together as like an ecosystem to make sure that social change is something that's happening, not just in society, but within corporations, whether it's startups or SMEs. And we have a really good visibility because we work with all of these key stakeholders. So at the core of what we do, we're very focused on gender-based violence. And our latest and most exciting project right now is doing an application called Ally, which is a B2B mobile application, turning local stores into safe spaces against anyone facing abuse. So whether it's street harassment or domestic abuse, if you go to a trained store where we work with the front of house staff members, you can get help and get the resources that you might not be able to get access to if you were, let's say, trapped at home or being followed by a stranger down the street. Now, the very interesting thing that I felt appealed to what we're doing as a startup or as an SME when it comes to the WEPs is that I think there's this misconception that you need to be a large corporation to start caring and start having procedures in place. And I think that's completely not true. If anything, I feel that having very good procedures and processes in place from such a small level, whether it's, you know, a 1-person company or a 5-person company, really sets the tone for what you're going to be able to do and how you're able to grow. So one thing that we have been able to do as, you know, committing to the WEPs is realizing that you can actually move a lot faster in terms of all the different principles, if you will. So imagine you're, you know, a large corporation with thousands of employees. To go through the WEPs, it probably takes a lot of time, which is great. But if you're a startup or an SME, you're able to actually start putting these procedures in place already before you even need to start growing or anything. And this is really, really true for what we're doing. So with our company, we have about 5 people now, and it's very easy to kind of just go through the list and see, you know, where we are, where we can be better, how we can improve. If we're talking about implementing gender policies, this is really the place to be doing it now. And now that we're starting to grow and hire more people, it's really about putting in place very good, very, you know, unbiased hiring practices. So that's really setting the standard for how we can grow and what we're going to be doing. And again, this is really relevant for startups and SMEs alike. And I think it's such a crucial place to be doing it before you grow even. So for someone in that space, and as I guess the winner of the youth leadership category as well, it's very easy to kind of just decide, you know what, I'm going to do this and just go for it and be very flexible in the kind of practices that you put in place. So I think that's really one thing that I learned is that, you know, if you want to be more inclusive, you can try and experiment lots of different things. It's never going to be right on the first go, but that's really how you fix your mistakes and not dwell and kind of try again. And I know this was not exactly the the question under SMEs and startups, but I think a lot of people who are kind of in this category probably fall under the youth leadership category, which was the one from last year, which we won. But I think it kind of resonates a lot to future categories as well, because you don't need to wait to be older or to have, you know, hundreds of thousands of employees underneath you. I think it's really always a great time to start thinking now about how you can implement gender inclusive practices in the workplace, in the supply chain, and more importantly, in society. And so that's really what we did when we were working a lot with different companies as well, because our application really, the start of it came from an offline practice where we're working with bigger companies like LSE and Adidas to help them with their diversity and inclusion agenda. So whether it's like smaller companies like ours working together in a more flexible way with larger corporations, that really also encourages this flexible, inclusive ecosystem. So that's really, I think, the gist of why we were interested. And I think having the WEPs behind you as, you know, an award really gives your young startup and your SME a lot more credibility to kind of grow in the right direction. So I'm gonna pass this now to Po Hua, which I know I wanted to hear more about, you know, the diversity and inclusion initiatives and agendas that you've been doing as well in your corporation of Intel. So please tell us why you applied for the award and what is your approach to your gender inclusive workplace practices.
Thank you, Nat. It is really an honor to be amongst all these well-deserved winners here today. Thank you for all that you're doing to empower women in your respective areas. So I'm Po Hua, I'm the Intel Malaysia HR Director. We Intel apply for this Gender Inclusive Workplace Award is to highlight the role of industry leader like Intel to level the playing field for women, especially in tech, which is still a male-nominated industry. Platform like these allow all of us to collectively create more impact on the initiative because we get to draw inspiration from each other and hopefully help others on their own journey as well. Gender inclusion has been a focus and priority for Intel globally. It is definitely an advantage for us to have the framework and overall initiative that are company-wide. However, with a company as large as ours, it was also very important that Intel Malaysia, with our 13,000 employees, address our very own unique challenges. Broadly, our mission is to promote development and equal opportunity for women by supporting the advancement and progression of our women employees. The goal that Intel set for ourselves as part of the global commitment by 2030 is to achieve 40% of the women in technical role and to double the number of women in senior leadership. There isn't a universal solution, not even within Intel Malaysia. We observe every segment of the women talent pipeline to understand their experiences and support them throughout various life and career stages. We accomplish this through the continuous enhancement to our gender inclusive policy, practices, initiative, and also the program. I'll just quickly touch on 3 of them. First, gender inclusive hiring practices. We make sure to use unbiased description in our job posting, and we assemble diverse candidate and hiring panels. To accelerate the effort, we also set a strategic target for senior female hiring and apply amplified employee referral bonuses for this role. Second, we strategically created mentoring, networking, and speaker program to complement the career advancement and opportunity that we already have. Employees are provided with the opportunity and flexibility to rotate job internally or find short-term development assignment to grow their skill and their acumen. Another thing we did was a corporate pay parity exercise. In January 2019, we achieved 100% global gender pay equity by closing the gap in average pay between the employee of different gender in equal or similar role. Since then, we have baked pay parity into our compensation processes. Having said all that, the two most important factors in enabling our success were leader and our employee. Our leadership not only support this effort, they actively lead the charge. They set goal, measure, and reward progress. And most of the program are created and implemented by passionate employees who invest their time and effort to make our workplace an inclusive one, where women can try, be their best self, and lead. We Intel were awarded for our workplace practices, but we also know it is crucial to support more women to participate fully in the marketplace. So to hear more about how companies are implementing Women Empowerment Principle 5, we have Anna Lagun, CEO of Bio Manila Incorporation. Anna Bio was the regional winner for Gender Inclusive Work Marketplace. Anna, can you tell us a little bit more about your initiative and why you think that the WEPs Award is an important platform to showcase the best practices?
Of course, to the human team, remarkable work you all do. Hello again, everyone. I'm Anna Lagon from Bio, a women's wear fashion brand in the Philippines. We are homegrown and have been in the industry for 30 years now. As Poa mentioned, Bio was recognized for highlighting the Women's Empowerment Principle 5 through the Gender Inclusive Award. We are currently in a transition from a linear to a business model. Our coach called the Journey to Zero initiative. We established a network of value chains, so it's a circular pathway towards sustainability. Operation is the key to its success. After identifying obstacles to our sustainability goals, we are continuously
Oh dear, I think we lost Anna. Apologies for that, everyone. Let me just check for a minute to see if we have, okay, I see she's back. Anna, are you back with us? I can see you're in the, hello, Anna?
I'm sorry, my connection got cut off. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, we can't see you.
How about
it's breaking up quite a bit. Maybe try again.
I can hear you clearly and see you as well.
Okay. Now we can hear you. Okay, go ahead again, Anna.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. It's my connection. Okay, going back. So we have our consistent efforts and okay, just want to make sure I'm clear enough, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So one of our consistent efforts has been bridging the gap between our supply chain and the communities we work with through our corporate social responsibility arm, which we that's the Bio Foundation. So we work with local weaving communities. And by personally providing the market access and motivate them to sustain their livelihood. So what we do is that we provide the necessary tools such as threads made out of natural fibers and loom equipment that help improve the weaver's efficiency. Our thrust is to empower more people to take up the craft of hand weaving, which is part of our Filipino culture. So the finished weaves result from a continuous collaboration between Bio and our partner weavers. And this collective effort fulfill our Journey to Zero concept, primarily driven by women's empowerment in every step of the way. Bio guarantees to purchase all hand-woven fabrics to sustain the works of the weaving communities. They are now part of our value chain, and this relationship with our partner weavers is shared with our customers through mindfully designed pieces, assuring them of the positive impact we create in producing fashionable clothes. So one that benefits every stakeholder within the circular value chain. Stories about our journey to zero concept are consistent in our digital assets. We promote our collaborations between the makers and wearers. We amplify our message, which is when we empower more women, especially those belonging to the marginalized sector, we help contribute to our country's economic growth. Using our company as a platform has become our business imperative that reiterates our vital role in society. Our company was able to emphasize the importance of women empowerment when BIA signed up for the UN Women's Empowerment Principles. It strengthened our commitment to achieving SDG number 5, which is key to our responsibility because we are also a member of the United Nations Global Compact. And soon after expressing commitment to the WEPs, I was encouraged to apply for the national awards. Well, at first I was really hesitant because I felt that we are still an extensive work in progress, and to have an award for our initiatives is so far from possible. Well, that's what I thought at that time, and it would only prove that no matter where you are, in the point of your trying to do something good and better for your business, there is always that time to start. It doesn't have to be in the position that you're so advanced already, just like how it went about for us. And that encouragement persisted and provided actually that compelling reason to pursue. So I really appreciate all that push that was given to me and our company. That moment, those times that we were encouraged to apply, it was for me an example of how we can empower each other. And that award was actually the icing on the cake. It paved the way for me to lead our company in assessing our baseline or our starting point and how we can improve our way forward. The awards from the national and regional were reminders of a more significant responsibility to accelerate our sustainability programs and use women empowerment as the force behind its trajectory. So given the UN Women Empowerment Principles Award, we really worked harder to continue in our journey of supporting, inspiring, celebrating, and uplifting women through more projects and initiatives. For us, it will further invigorate who knows, maybe we can expand to neighboring Asian countries and probably beyond. So today, I take this opportunity to pay it forward and encourage each of you, women and men, to be part of the UN Women's WEPs. Sign up and express your commitment. I assure you, it will be well worth it. There is a bigger purpose behind a principles-based approach to doing business. I am truly grateful for having been encouraged to make that decision. Sign up now and apply for the awards most appropriate for your company. Benefits will go a long way, adding more value to how you can evolve and transform to become a better business. Together, we can all make a difference, leaving no one behind.
Thank you, Anna. So back to you, Katya and Amy.
Great. Thank you very much to all of you exciting speakers. It was really great to hear, and I think very much encouraging also the applications or who has applied, that there is such a diverse audience, large companies, smaller companies, very young leaders, established leaders. So really, I think that gives courage and inspiration for others, no matter at what stage they are, to share their good practices with us. In the meanwhile, while we've heard from many of you, there are also a couple of questions, and we are officially transitioning into our Q&A section right now. So I'm also going to look to Amy. We have been both monitoring a couple of questions in the Q&A, but please also raise your hands if people have more questions. Let me maybe start off with a couple. and then we'll take it from there. Very basic ones. If you're sharing the presentations afterwards, yes, and it will be also shared with much more guidance on application for the awards, as Amy shared before. We have also shared, some of you asked if you could have examples on previous winners. I think really exploring the WEPs Awards website and the YouTube video we have shared is a great source of that. And then we had a question and a Q&A on, can a company apply for 3 categories, including leadership, workplace, and marketplace? I think we have covered this one, but maybe just to be clear. So there's a maximum of 2 categories to apply for. So that's just the other ones. Amy, do you want to take over maybe the one on, can winner from last year's apply, or from last 2 years apply for the same category?
Yes, I can take on that one. So this is also one of our frequently asked questions that we get quite a bit. So yes, so the rule is that, yes, if you've been awarded previously, you can apply again, and even for the same category, but it needs to be either for a different initiative, or the initiative needs to be significantly adapted or expanded, or your results are significantly different. So perhaps you applied in 2020 and won for a certain category with a certain initiative, but to now you want to apply for that same initiative, but you've got a lot more results. You've reached far more people, or you've also expanded the initiative. If it was a workplace initiative, to more units within the company. Or more employee levels. So that's kind of the main thing that we're seeking, is either different initiative or significantly changed or adapted. We don't want to be awarding kind of the same companies for the same initiatives. And somewhat related to that, actually, a question that we also get quite a bit is the timeline and the time frame of when these initiatives should have started or finished. And so there's no rule to when the initiatives should have started. It could have started 7 years ago. The main rule of thumb is that it is still actively benefiting employees or in implementation. So it should still be having some effect on the employees, or still active. That's kind of the timeline question. Let me see. Okay, I see a few more coming in.
Maybe I'll take this one. Are there any nomination charges? There are not. So everyone, as we said, can apply. There are no charges to that. But a little bit linked to this one, I would just kind of want to also encourage, I've been inspired by some of you. In terms of nominations, what we see also, what might be interesting, is if there's a winner, for example, from one company in one respective country, and you know that your other colleagues in other countries are also doing great work. So I think this is a great way not to nominate other country officers, but inspire them at least to apply. So I do feel that would be also a great way to get companies who are really taking actions, but in different ways in different countries. So please feel free to inspire your colleagues and other country officers to apply as well.
Yeah, and that also kind of is a segue to another frequently asked question. When you complete the application, you do have to choose which country you're applying from. And so mostly we ask that companies apply for that specific office and an initiative in a country, and multiple branches of a multinational could apply. So for example, Unilever, who has won in different countries previously, can apply for Unilever Vietnam, Unilever Thailand, there is an option to apply as a regional office if you want to apply for a regional initiative that might have been implemented in a few different countries. So at the time of application, you can select the country for the country that you're sitting in at that point in the regional office, and just write your title as regional office, and then submit for your results that have taken place across the region.
I wanted to also make one comment, because I've been seeing that we have a couple of participants joining us from Europe today. And I know some of these corporations, while they are not eligible in their headquarters with their organizations in Europe, but I do feel 2 things maybe to say here. One is really again, encourage your country representatives in the different Asia-Pacific countries, but also I see some of the larger companies here inspire your suppliers that you are working with, because I see that's what we have seen quite a lot is larger brands and companies that might be headquartered in different geographies, but having a very strong footprint of production and supply chains in Asia and the Pacific, and also investing in some of their suppliers or supporting them in supplier diversity programming. So I do feel there's also an opportunity for the European, or I just saw a couple here on the line, to really kind of go through that direction and guide also the companies or your partners here in the region to apply.
Great. One other question that I see in the Q&A is, can we include an upcoming program as part of our application? For example, if a program is already announced, but in the phase of starting. So for this one, we do like to see applications for programs that have already been implemented. Of course, we would love to learn what you're doing, but because we do ask for results and kind of sustainability plans, we do need programs that have already started implementation and seen some results. So yes, so if it's still in the phase of starting and implementation hasn't kicked off at all yet, it probably won't fit for this year, but possibly for next year.
Great. Any more questions, anyone? Okay. If not, Amy, do you want to maybe quickly also still show the website maybe for applications? You want to put it also in the chat again?
I think you can see the WEPs Awards website, correct?
Not yet. I think it started screen sharing. Not, at least I can't see it yet. Maybe try again.
My bandwidth could be low.
No, we can.
You're seeing it now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our WEPs Awards website where you can find all things about the WEPs Awards. So you'll find out about the WEPs Awards, there's key dates, categories, eligibility, and the selection process, a lot of what we've discussed today, all through here. You'll also find about the WEPs, where you can find out more about the WEPs, why to apply, or become a signatory, how to become a signatory. And it'll take you to the WEPs global website, which is here also. And then you can see actually from past years our judging panels and our awardees. And we have some of our frequently asked questions on here. And we are in the process of still updating it. So we will also get the champion profiles from 2020 and then the 2021 testimonial videos up as well. And I just want to take you quickly to the apply page. So this is hot off the press, newly launched today. So applications open now through June 30th. China is coming soon, the application in Chinese. And we have a bit of basic information. Here you can also download the actual application if you'd like to start filling it out online among different units. One unique thing that we have this year as well is an application guidance document. So this is going to take you through a bit more detail of what kinds of supporting documents might be needed. It's just a bit more detailed than the frequently asked questions of how you should fill out the application and what kind of supporting documents can provide some evidence. So this is just to help you with the application. And I'll go ahead and show you quickly what it looks like when you click on English. So our applications are used through this external platform called JotForm, which some of you may have used before. And you've got this, we have all our categories listed out here, and then part 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then part 1, we'll just show you how it works a little bit, is where you would actually choose the 2 categories that you want to apply for. And you'll see you can only choose 2. So I might apply for leadership and workplace. And then I'll go to next. And then part 2 is where you have these specific questions related to policies and practices. So I might choose my percentage of women in management is 30 to 49. And then it's going to ask me to actually input the percentage, 45, let's say. And then I need to upload a file. So if you don't have an organizational chart or another kind of official document that substantiates this, you can write your response in a Word document and upload the Word document. We will work with you and whatever you can provide. And then just to show you what part 3 looks like, once you've chosen the categories, they're already here, and it will ask me for my my name and date of birth, because I'm submitting for leadership. And then in here, you would write your responses, and you'd be more than happy to work with these offline. So one of the good things about this that I'll just show really quickly is you can save your application and come back at any time. And so what you will notice is an email will be sent to you to the email that you use when you register. I think I've already logged into the JotForm platform, so it's recognizing my email. But you don't have to sign up on anything with JotForm. You can always just have it send that link to your email, and then you'll actually get an email from JotForm that will say Asia-Pacific WEPs Awards or UN Women WEPs Awards. And from there, you'll have the link that you can go back and complete your application at any time. So that's one of the nice features as well. And it's going to remind you of everything you didn't fill out. And then when you are ready, finally, we just have our kind of data disclaimer and confidentiality, that everything will be kept confidential and used only for the purposes of the selection criteria for the awards. And then you submit, and then the application comes to us. So that's how it works with the website. I'm checking the chat. Please share link of form. So it's on the website, Famida. The website link that Katya shared, Asia-Pacific WEPs Awards, is here. And then you just click on your language and it will take you directly to the form. So we have Thai available, we have Vietnamese, we have Bahasa Indonesia, and then we'll have Chinese coming soon as well, so that you can submit in those languages. Okay, any other specific questions on the application or the website? We have a lot of good information as well on our FAQs, and we do update these as we go through the process. Okay. I don't think I think we might actually be poised to close a bit early today, which is always miraculous in the Zoom universe. But yes, we are available. I will put the email in the chat, and it's also on the website where you can contact us further if you have any questions about the WEPs Awards. And we will be holding an info session in another few weeks to give more information and just walk people through the application again, and how it will work. And applications are open today through June 30th. And then maybe to close us out, I'll hand this back to Katya.
Maybe there's one more question, which might be more practical questions or technical questions in terms of uploading requirements for pictures, videos. Would you like to quickly answer?
Yes. Yes. Okay, yes, and this is a great question. Do we need to convert? So someone asked for evidence. Do we need to convert the pictures to PDF, like Facebook posts videos, or the application accepts it as links? Yes, this is a great question, and this is actually one of the great things. So we do have a limit on the amount of data we can take, but you don't have to submit it as PDF. What you can do is submit links in a Word document. And then if it's a link to a Google video or a Facebook post or Facebook comments, we have people do that all the time. We've had people submit links to their Instagram accounts or stories if they created kind of an advocacy account. So you're more than welcome to submit links in Word documents that we can find, or put videos on a Google Drive.
Perfect. Great. What a great kickoff and starting. So I hope this was really insightful. Sorry for a lot of information, but I think many of you had also questions. And with that, I really feel you have a good overview, and we will be sharing this as promised to all the registered participants after this call. And with that, I'll just want to close on two things. One, I hope we're really going to get a lot of engagement from you. Please inspire your networks, even if you don't apply yourselves. Please share the word. We will also share more social media assets, which we hope you will be also which we will be also sharing with your networks. And the last one, again, a huge thank you for all the participants attending, but also the panel members. Maya, thank you for moderating, and thank you very much for the last year's awardees for sharing your experience. That has been really helpful and probably the most practical part of this launching event. And thank you very much again to our partners, the EU and DFAT, for supporting us again this year. And let's make this a great third edition of the 2022 WEPs Awards in Asia Pacific. Thank you, everyone, and stay safe and have a great afternoon wherever you are. Bye-bye, everyone.